This woman here grew her trucking business from 0 to $1.4 million a year in 1 year. Let's see if it makes sense. Here we have Business Insider article. So a 31-year-old woman started her own trucking business with no money and made $1.4 million 1 year later, and here's how she did it. So we got Brittany Traylor here posing in front of the truck. So Brittany Traylor started her trucking company, Trailer Transpo, in 2021. She said she did not need much capital to start her own trucking company in 2021. That's difficult to believe. Through the brokerage and dispatching, her business generated $1.4 million a year in revenue last year. Oh, that makes more sense. Maybe no trucks. She revealed how she built her company with no money and gained drivers' trust. It was never Brittany Traylor's dream to become a truck driver, but after seeing her uncle do it, she took classes and became a driver too. He started posting a lot of great pictures on Facebook and sharing his experience. I wanted a piece of that, she told the Insider. She was open deck driver, which means like flatbed. It means she mostly hauled construction equipment. Once COVID-19 spread, manufacturers shut down, construction halted, and supply chains tightened. Her loads became less reliable. After driving for 5 years, Traylor took online classes and became a licensed broker, a role in trucking that connects drivers with freight jobs and manages the shipping process. In January of 2021, she established her trucking brokerage and dispatching company, Trailer Transpo. Last year, the Dallas company generated $1.4 million in revenue, which Insider verified with documentation. So, in my opinion so far, it seems like she's done everything right, and she's right, it is not expensive to start what she started, and we'll go through the numbers. If we look here, you can see kind of what your startup cost would be to do each of these things. So with the brokerage, you have your $2,000 bond, $300 LLC, $80 for the UCR, $300 for your MC authority, a transportation management system for $1,000. Honestly, if you're small and you're just getting started out, you could probably just do this on Excel. You should do this on Excel because that would just be free. And then QuickBooks would be like $100 for the year. So that in total is only $3,700. Later costs, so like when you get bigger clients, a lot of times they want these types of insurance in order to obtain them as clients. So we have contingent cargo, errors and omissions, the crime bond, and then your website would be about $1,000. Zoom phone, you can log on and have like a company number and see more official. And then we have the DAT load board for like $350 a year. That's so you can post loads and get them booked that way. So all in all, if you have all the stuff, it's like $19,000 a year, and most of the stuff is like monthly. So it would not be $19,000 up front. Realistically, you probably need at least $2,000 up front to pay for the bond. And then much later, if you want to do quick pay, then basically if you're doing $200,000 of revenue a month and you're doing quick pay, you're going to need $200,000 to cover those costs. Now, for our friends over here, the dispatchers, all they need is the load board and their LLC. So their total cost is $650 per year. So these costs are super low. It is super possible to start these types of businesses. The harder part is executing them and actually getting the revenue. Back to our article here. So through Trailer Transpo, she's been able to create opportunities for others, a component of entrepreneurship that's important to her. I grew up in a foster system and I didn't have opportunity, Trailer said. So being able to do that with trucking, I was able to partner with others, hire employees, give them a platform that empowers them. Here's how Traylor built $1 million trucking company in a year. How to start from literally zero. Traylor said she didn't need much capital to start her brokerage, which we were able to see earlier, which is convenient because she had literally zero cash and was about 3 months behind on her bills. It's a great time to start a business. But hey, earlier she was saying she couldn't get loads. Like, I guess like her business wasn't giving her loads during COVID. So you got to do what you got to do, man. It's understandable to be 3 months behind on your bills. To get her business off the ground, she picked up freelance gigs delivering shingles, glass windows, and Amazon packages in her box truck. Now, I'm a huge supporter of this. When we started our business, I was working for Domino's and Lyft. So basically, I was able to work during all the business hours and then work from, 6 p.m. to midnight or 6 p.m. until 3 a.m. and actually make the cash to survive. We were living on very, very little cash in the beginning, and I'm sure she experienced the same thing. And it's good if you're going into this to kind of have a backup plan to actually make money. And if you do these gig jobs, if you do a job like Uber, like Lyft, or like even maybe being a DoorDash driver now making $20 an hour, if you just do that for 8 hours after you're done doing your business for the day, you can actually work it with your time and make the money to survive and not maybe see a huge lapse in your income. And when I was driving Lyft also, this was back in like 2018, you could actually make $500 in a night if you just worked for 14 14 hours from like Friday night until like Saturday morning essentially. And then that's a great deal of money if you're actually living on a lower budget. So I'd recommend definitely getting one of these gig jobs, just hammering it out during a tough session, not going out on Friday night, and actually having the money for the week to operate. So hats off to Brittany here. So Brittany said, I was at my breaking point of thinking maybe I just need to go back into the job world, she said. And then that's when we started excelling. She formed a relationship with a leasing company to get more trucks, which helped her pivot to an asset-based business or a company that owns its own equipment. So she does own her own equipment now. Okay. Once she was ready to hire employees, she advertised on Facebook and waited for candidates to apply. At that time, I really didn't know how to hire people or interview people. She said, I was simultaneously digging into that subject and constantly educating myself to build this team. Her first hire helped her get her first shipper, which gave her the capacity to take on an aluminum supplier. Today, the aluminum supplier is the biggest account with her brokerage. So two things here. One, hiring drivers is an incredible pain in the ass. So I'm surprised she did it, but it is very difficult, and she's definitely a hustler for doing that, because I mean, there's like 30 different steps you got to take to make sure that they're legal with the drug test, background check, you know, all these different things. And then the second thing is definitely a hustler move to hire someone that gets you your first major customer. So she certainly knew this before hiring her, that this person that she did hire would get her work, which I think in trucking is a very, very good strategy to do this. Someone with business connections, someone to actually get you in. A lot of times it could just be a driver that's worked at a place for a while, or maybe someone who was a former manager at a location. But using the hiring process to get a customer is kind of a creative way to do so. Also notice there that she is leasing trucks, and that's a hard relationship to make when you're small, so also a difficult thing to do, but shows again that it's possible. And through her leasing trucks, that means she does not need to have major down payments on the trucks. Like when we started working with Penske, they required us to give, $10,000 of a down payment. Then you're just paying month to month at that point. So way easier than getting 2 trucks and having to put $100,000 down on them to actually lease it if the leasing company is willing to work with you. So Trailer Transpo now has 7 employees, 4 of whom are drivers. The company also works with about 50 contracted owner-operators or truck drivers who lease their own trucks themselves. Trailer holds daily meetings and regular trainings to ensure her team is always learning and growing. One of the keys to her company's success has been implementing technology to connect their team, track shipments, and manage orders. This is kind of something that everyone says, so everyone's got the tech, but the customers don't care that much. They kind of care in the meeting like, oh, cool, but then not really more after that. In the past 2 years, the trucking industry has seen a lot of ups and downs, from supply chain issues to inflation. While jobs are not going away, the payout, it can fluctuate depending on cost and type of freight. Last year, there was a boom of all these small carriers, owner-operators, and it was a great market to be a carrier at that time, Traylor said. This year, we're on the flip side of the market, and it's a broker-customer market. Today, freight can be difficult to find, and fuel prices have skyrocketed, she said. With higher costs of doing business, the carrier is taking all those costs. Because of those challenges, it's been imperative to support her drivers. We had to assist a lot of these carriers to directly pay them or give them advances to even be able to haul these loads. She said that's where these good relationships come in that we have with our carriers, because we go out of our way to make it happen and we can all win. Yet Trailer encourages anyone interested in starting a trucking company business to not be dissuaded by the market. Supply chain is an ever-changing market. There's no right time necessarily, she said. Just do it and be open and allow the market to direct you. So you can see here, yes, you could start a trucking related business for extremely low cost, as low as $600 a month. Yes, she can get all that revenue. On that revenue, she's probably making like 20 to 30% margin, which is great. And even in the bad market, you could still do very well in trucking. It just depends on sort of your level of hustle. In terms of any industry, this is probably the industry where it's really just hustle, 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 learn through experience. So in terms of getting in at the right time, I think that's an excuse, and I think she's correct. I think you just gotta go for it if you want to. If you feel like you're the type of person who can handle that type of action and just go, 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 and handling really hard problems and lots of stress, then this is the business for you. So if you like stress and you like high energy and working a lot of hours, this is something where you don't need a crazy education to do so. You can actually do very well in this business just by driving a truck for a couple years, or even not doing it, or even just hustling. So yeah, I think all this is true. This all makes sense. I like how Insider verified it, and I think, Brittany did a great job. So a thumbs up to her, and super positive article. If you guys got anything else you want me to talk about, just let me know in the comments, and please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for listening.